Hello everyone, welcome to this course. In this course, we will have a 5 lecture. We want to talk about data acquisition system. What is the data acquisition system? And what is the hardware for data acquisition system? How we can have a hardware in loop in the MATLAB by data acquisition and in the PC, and how we can work with the software test and monitoring such as the DAQ. DAQ is a kind of software we can test and monitor each input and output, and how we can create a program in the Matlab Simulink environment and have a connection between the Matlab Simulink environment and data acquisition and physical environment. In this course, we will talk about what type of sensor we can connect to the data acquisition and how we can have a wiring, such as how we can connect the thermocouple to the data acquisition, and how we can connect a digital input to data acquisition, and how we can connect digital output to data acquisition, and how we can measure the analog input, and how we can send some command from the digital from analog output or digital output to actuator, proportional actuator or digital actuator. So in this lecture and in this course, we will talk about wiring for data acquisition and what type of sensor we can connect them, and all of the information for data acquisition will be present in this course. In this course, we will talk about how we can connect a single-ended voltage to data acquisition and how we can connect a differential voltage signal to data acquisition, and what type of signal such as the voltage or current we can connect to the data acquisition, and how we can measure a differential input by the data acquisition system. We will talk about device pinout and how many pinout we have in the data acquisition, and what is the pinout for digital input and what is the pinout for analog input and analog output. We will discuss about with more detail about this subject. In this course, we will have some experimental example, from the simple experimental example to complex experimental example, how we can connect a potentiometer to data acquisition and how we can measure analog input and by the potentiometer or gas sensor or level sensor and something like that by the data acquisition system, and how we can have a wiring between the potentiometer to data acquisition, and how we can have a wiring between the analog inputs such as the gas sensor or level sensor to data acquisition system, and then we will discuss about how we can measure MQ2 gas sensor by data acquisition and what is the wiring between them. And during the discourse, we will speak about a software test and monitor software such as the DAQ and how we can measure analog input and analog output and digital input and digital output, and how we can test it by DAQ. What is the DAQ? What is the tab in the DAQ? What is the analog input tab? What is the analog output tab? What is the digital input tab? And what is the digital output tab? And how we can measure and how we can configure a digital input or analog input or digital output or analog output in the DAQ to measure and test different type of sensor. During the course, we will have some experimental example such as the level sensor measurement, temperature sensor control, and pressure control, and we can measure by the data acquisition, and we will test it by DAQ Navy and implement by Matlab software environment, and to have a hardware-in-loop system. And we will discuss about DAQ Navy systems, DAQ Navy software. We will discuss about MATLAB environment, and we will discuss about how we can connect a physical environment to data acquisition and have this type of closed loop system. And then we will discuss about tank level in open loop system, how we can implement an open loop system in the MATLAB environment, and how we can connect to the data acquisition system, and how we can measure the physical environment such as the level sensor or pressure sensor, and connect to the data acquisition and monitor in the MATLAB environment. And the last good example will be about the closed loop temperature control. In this closed loop system, we will measure a temperature sensor as a feedback, and we can control the power regulator or heater drive to control the oven temperature. And we implemented the closed loop system in the MATLAB environment and connect to the data acquisition and then connect to the physical environment. All of this experimental example will be discussed about in this course, and I hope to see you in our lecture, and thank you for your attention.